Early in November, the Attleboro Civil War Commemorative Committee will be putting on a program entitled American Civil War: Roots of Modern Technology. The program will compare the technological innovations made during the Civil War with today's technology. We spoke with committee member Ethel Garvin about the Civil War Committee and the upcoming event.
My name is Ethel Garvin, and I am a member of the Attleboro Area Civil War Commemorative Committee. I've been on the committee now for a year and a half, and what we do is we organize events for the celebration of the 150th anniversary of the Civil War. It's a 5-year history commemoration. The Civil War began in 1861, so the celebration began last year and will commence until 2015. On November 3rd, the committee is hosting a Civil War technology event. At the event will be living history, people in costumes representing different characters from that period. There'll be activities for young kids. I know one member is creating an activity on the youth being able to decode or write code or Morse code, and then there'll be displays on that topic. Well, I became interested in this topic, I think it was by watching Ken Burns' documentary on the Civil War. So that's how I became interested in history and my desire to want to pass that on. And if I'm so interested in knowing this history, someone else must share the same passion. And I just think it's important to commemorate those who lost their lives, who fought and died for what we did, especially as an African American. Those soldiers who were once slaves, who decided, to pick up a gun and fight for their freedom. That's pretty significant for me that they would choose to do that. And that's part of the history that I would like to share and to pass along. Well, this event is on technology, so I'm doing some research on the African American response, or the African Americans inventors during that time period. What I found so far is probably what most people know, that since we were slaves during that time, we probably did do some inventions, but because we were considered property, we weren't able to get patents. Whatever patents we were able to get, the master got it, so he got credit for whatever inventions the slave may have done. I actually came across an interesting story. President Davis' brother, who had slaves, one of his slaves came up with an invention. And so President Davis' response was to make sure that it was law in the Confederate States that no slave could get a patent. And so therefore the slave did not get credit for whatever his invention was. And so I'll have information on that aspect there. And plus some inventions that from the mid-1800s to the present day. Since the event is about the roots of technology, so we'll try to blend them in that way. It'll be display boards mostly. I won't be doing a talk, it'll be handouts. And for the African American inventors, I'll have a quilt on display that was created by students at Coelho Middle School 2 years ago. And so that'll be on a display. Well, I think it's going to be a day of fun. I think, as I mentioned earlier, there'll be activities for young people. If you're interested in history, I think what we've got to showcase from the living history to, I think, the hands-on things that will be there. I think it'll just be a day of fun and learning.